Do any of you guys have a hobby you love so much you would be infuriated if it was taken away from you? Maybe not necessarily taken away from you, but what if it was watered down so much to the point where it isn't as enjoyable as it once was? Do you want to know what could happen? What are the best ways to prepare for something like this? Watch this video to find out where are the best ways to salvage what is left of it. What is happening, everybody? I hope y'all are having a happy Friday. Today is a happy Friday because we are finally past the summer solstice. Yep, which means the days are now getting shorter, which means we are on the road to our next ski season here in the Northern Hemisphere. Today I'm going to be discussing legislation that is on the table right now that could change the US ski industry forever, and how to best prepare for those changes. Now, to all of us that live in the US, regardless of which side of the aisle you stand, we could all agree the government does nothing but fuck everything up. This is just one of the many examples of it. Now, we aren't going to go into the politics that go into this, as this is not a political channel, so we are going to just be discussing the facts and possibilities of what could happen. So the United States federal government is in the process of passing H.R. 1, which is also known as One Big Beautiful Bill. One of the provisions in this bill is to sell off 2 million acres of federal land. A good portion of that federal land that they plan on selling includes not just ski resorts, but land for many other activities such as hunting, fishing, camping, or any outdoor recreational activity you could think of. Because this is a ski channel, we will focus on that first one, which is ski resorts. Many ski resorts have special use permits to be able to operate on federal land, which date all the way back to World War II era. Because of this, many ski resorts are going to be in jeopardy if this goes into effect. Ski resorts such as Vail, A-Basin, the Aspen Mountains, Beaver Creek, Keystone, Breckenridge, Copper, Winter Park, Loveland, Crested Butte, and Eldora, that is just to name a few. Now, just to make this clear, not every single ski resort that is operating on federal land will be affected by this. But if the ski resort is operating on federal land, it is at risk of falling victim to the sell-off. If the land the ski resort operates on gets sold, there are two possibilities to this. One possibility is the ski resorts themselves buy the land they operate on. This sounds like a good idea on paper, but in reality is a lot more complex than just that. First of all, the ski resort has to be the highest bidder. If there's any kind of competition for that land, that could mean the ski resort has to pay a lot of money to buy it, which means those costs will be coming out of your ski pass. This not only means higher prices for your ski pass, but it will also mean the ski resort will cut corners on new lifts, snowmaking, grooming, employee wages/benefits, etc. So the consumer will end up paying more and getting less quality skiing. This can especially be a problem if you are an Epic or Icon pass holder, as it is more likely that at least one of the resorts on that pass will face this problem and put upward pressure on those pass prices. Now, the second possibility is an entity other than the ski resort purchases the land. This is even more problematic, as the ski resort will have to fall at the mercy of whoever owns the land, where they can make draconian rules that hinder the ski resort's operations, make the skiing experience less enjoyable, or could even cease the ski resort's operations entirely. We could see a scenario where Vail could buy up the land that an Altera ski resort operates on, or vice versa. This sell-off will also significantly affect backcountry skiing, as the rules will probably change for leaving the resort, or if where you normally backcountry ski is on a federal land and has the potential to be bought out. Now we have discussed the two different possibilities. Either way, it is going to have a negative impact on the environment, as the environmental regulations will be in the hands of a corporation. We have all these federal lands for a reason, which is for the convenience of the federal government to regulate these lands to do things such as protect endangered species, prevent wildfires, etc. Skiing is a sport that is very susceptible to climate change and the environment, so making sure things are being done as cleanly as possible is an important factor for skiing. Keep in mind, once these lands are sold, they are sold, and there is no reversing this decision. That is why it's important to not jam through something like this in one giant bill without fully thinking this through. Now that we discussed the potential consequences of these sell-offs, let's get into the potential counter-arguments to this. One counter-argument is this will improve ski resort expansion, as they won't have these regulations getting in the way of the expansion. Now, I do agree our regulations for ski resorts are too strict and do hinder ski resort expansion, but the solution to that should be to loosen the regulations, not to just sell off the land entirely. There should be a fine balance between where there should be reasonable regulations to protect the environment, but also not too many regulations where it hinders ski resort improvement. We should focus on actually addressing the problem and fixing the system, not dismantling the whole system because of one problem. That is like chopping off your entire hand because you got a cut. Now, I may not be a doctor, but I'm pretty sure any reasonable medical professional would say that you should probably just treat your cut rather than chop your whole hand off, because if you chop your whole hand off, then you just run into bigger problems. Another counter-argument for this would be that it would be better for the ski resort to own the lands themselves rather than having them lease it from the federal government. That may sound like a good idea on paper, but there is a reason why so many ski resorts decide to do it this way. If it were such a good idea for ski resorts to buy the land they operate on, it would have already been done by way more ski resorts. There is also no guarantee that the new owners of the land would be the ski resorts themselves. These are great discussions to have and definitely up for debate, but you can't just pull the plug of a core thing the skiing industry thrives on and expect no consequences. Another counter-argument to this is most ski resorts will most likely not be affected at all by this sell-off. Yes, that is most likely true, but at the end of the day, most does not mean all. And one of the select few resorts that does get affected by this could be your favorite mountain. Let's also not forget about what I mentioned earlier, which is if at least one of the ski resorts happens to be on the Epic or Icon Pass, it could impact the price of your pass, whether you ski at that resort or not. Vail and Alterra are still responsible for those resorts, and it will cost them more money to have to purchase the land. Also, if the ski resorts remain untouched by this sell-off, it will probably affect another recreational activity you love, as well as it just sets a bad precedent. Because I can bet you money, if they get away with doing this once, they will most likely do it again. Now we discussed all the possibilities of this, let's discuss how us skiers can prepare for the worst case scenario. Now, the biggest issues I address from this is the costs of your ski pass going up, or the new rules that may lessen the quality of skiing. There is not much we could do to stop any of these from happening, but there are ways we can best prepare for these things. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how you can be prepared for rising pass prices. The first thing you should do, which is the most important, is learn your ski pass's pricing strategy. Epic and Icon tend to sell their passes at their lowest rates in the spring of the prior ski season. Keep up to date when those passes go on sale and get them as quickly as possible. That will guarantee you to have the best price you can get. Also consider discounts like student, military, and disability discounts if those apply to you. Research online coupon codes, partnerships, etc. to find deals to lower the price even further. This one is easier said than done, but look into finding a career with the ski resort and take advantage of their ski pass benefits. Finally, If you have done all your research and ski pass prices are still out of your reach, try looking into alternative options like getting a season pass for a smaller resort, or maybe downgrade from a full Epic/Icon pass to just a base pass, or check out some of Epic's regional passes. I will also have a video coming out later in the off season on how to choose the right ski pass for you. The more difficult thing to avoid is if there are rules/regulation changes at the ski resort that will affect skiing negatively. One particular thing that could end up happening is ski resorts might start having areas that are exclusive to private residents. We have already seen this happen at Powder Mountain in Utah, where they have lifts and runs that are exclusively only for residents. Even if they are not worth doing, keep in mind the ski resorts have to pay to staff and maintain those areas, meaning it will compromise on the quality of the main resort. Another thing that could happen is ski resorts may be able to stop allowing you to ski out of bounds and go backcountry skiing, as it will no longer be public land and will be private land. Now, the ways to prepare for this is to be flexible. Research ski resorts that aren't being affected by this, or consider planning an international ski trip. Even though the ski industry in the US may be in a bit of a slump with all of this, you can still find great skiing in other countries. Being flexible is the best way to prepare for any kind of change. If you love the sport so much, you'll do whatever it takes to find joy in it, even if it means going to another country. Not necessarily saying that that is something that has to be done, but definitely a good last resort option. The last thing that you could do to prepare for all this is get familiar with natural disaster procedures. Less land will be federally regulated now, so natural disasters will occur more frequently. Particularly avalanches is one that you need to watch out for the most as a skier. It probably isn't a bad idea to brush up on your avalanche safety training and maybe look into what other kinds of hazards could occur on the mountain. At the end of the day, fingers crossed, minimal damage, if any, is done, and hopefully we can have more great skiing despite the potential changes. I will be here with you guys every step of the way, for the better or for the worse, as I will not let some stupid bill ruin one of my favorite hobbies. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Leave a comment down below what you think, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.